Hello, my name is Christopher Houston, and today I want to talk to you about 5 daily habits that build your future. Before we jump in, please subscribe, leave a comment, and stick around for the last 20 seconds because we'll give you the exact phrase I use to stay ready. And there's a 1-sentence challenge to level up your week. So let's get started. What if your future isn't shaped by big moments, but by small, consistent moments? Most people wait until they're promoted to prepare, but I believe you prepare before you're promoted. That's what John Maxwell said. That's what John Maxwell calls the law of consistency. Doing the right thing daily, not occasionally. Maxwell says motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. I've seen that truth across my career in the Air Force, my career at TSA, my career in leadership, mentoring, coaching, and throughout all my experiences. Consistency isn't flashy, but it's the quiet force that separates the average from the exceptional. In my experience, exceptional people don't get lucky, they get ready. And when opportunity shows up, they're already in position to seize that opportunity. A friend of mine once asked me, Chris, what's the one thing that really made the difference in your success? Well, my answer was quite simple: consistent growth. For 12 years straight, I made learning a non-negotiable. Books, courses, mentors, and I treated education like oxygen. The discipline became the foundation that prepared me for every promotion, every challenge, and every opportunity that came my way. When you stay consistent, you don't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity finds you already prepared. So let's get into the 5 daily habits that will help build your future. The first habit of consistency is simple. Win the morning before the world wakes up. I'm up between 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. every day. No snooze button, no second guessing, and I get dressed, grab my gear, and head straight to the gym. Here's the thing, that's my first win of the day. Just showing up. I'm not the kind of person who can work out at home. I kind of need that drive, that movement, that mindset shift that happens when I leave the house. By the time I walk through those gym doors, I've already won the battle most people never fight, the one between comfort and commitment. Because when the sun rises, I don't want to be catching up. I want to already be in motion. That's what consistency looks like. Consistency begins the moment you wake up on purpose. Great leaders don't stumble into productivity, they plan it. So ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that will move me forward? By the time my workday starts, I've already stacked a few wins, body, mind, and spirit. And once you start your day with momentum, it's hard to lose it. Now let's move to habit 2. Keep learning even when you're leading. Growth doesn't just happen. You have to schedule it. I've seen leaders stop learning the moment they get the title they wanted. I've seen other leaders slow down once they got comfortable in the position. And I've seen some just stop altogether. Not because they can't grow, but because they got complacent. But here's the truth. You commit to continual learning, you'll always outgrow the people who decided to stop. When I was leading teams at TSA, I introduced the John Maxwell sessions. Some called it a book club, some called it training, some called it a mastermind group. But what it really became was transformation. Because when a leader keeps learning and teaches their team to do the same, something powerful happens. The culture shifts, people grow, and the organization wins. Leaders who keep learning are like full cups. And when your cup is full, your greatest responsibility is to pour into others. Keep learning, not because you have to, but because others are counting on you. When you stop growing, the people who you lead, sometimes they stop rising. Habit 3. Track what you want to transform. What gets measured gets improved. I track my workouts, I track my nutrition, I even track my credit score. Because consistency isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. When you track your habits, you start to see patterns. And patterns reveal performance. You can't improve what you don't measure. One of the first things I ever tracked wasn't fitness or finance, it was my future. You see, back in the 10th grade, when I was in high school, I was sitting in the lunchroom at my high school, and my high school was in Birmingham, Alabama. I told one of my friends, I'm going into the military, and I'm going to retire after 20 years. Now think about it, we were 16 years old, so he just laughed and said, yeah, right. Now that was in 1984. Fast forward 40 years later, that same friend was invited and showed up to my daughter's high school graduation dinner. We talked and laughed about the past, and he looked at me and said, man, I still remember that day in the lunchroom. You actually did it. That momentum reminded me of something powerful. Tracking isn't about numbers, it's about commitment. When you write it down, when you measure it, when you revisit it, you're declaring that it matters. So ask yourself, what matters most right now, and how am I tracking it? You see, growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens on purpose. One measured step at a time. Habit 4, do the small things with big discipline. Consistency is built in the small things, the ones nobody sees. For me, discipline started in the military. You're trained to show up every day. You're either at work, on leave, or you're at sick call. Now understand, there is no calling in sick. So when I say sick call, I mean that you actually went to the doctor and the doctor makes the call whether you go to work or not. So that rhythm builds a mindset to be present, to be accountable, and to be ready. When I retired and stepped into the civilian world, leading, studying, and teaching, that same discipline came with me. I listened to thousands of hours of personal development. I joined Toastmasters. I earned 3 master's degrees. I mentored teams and individuals. Different arenas, same principle. Prepare in private, show up in public, and then you repeat it. Because that's how momentum is made. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. Tiny, disciplined actions done daily become unstoppable forces over time. Brick by brick, rep by rep, day after day, that's how you build a leader. Lastly, habit 5, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. My father used to say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That line shaped my life, and it's the backbone of my message. Prepare before you're promoted. You see, my dad worked in a Birmingham steel plant in the 60s and 70s. Brutal conditions, hard lines of segregation, and roles designed to keep black workers at the bottom. Instead of settling, he stayed late. He watched, he learned, he asked questions. Different machinists taught him how to run the presses after hours. So this is after he got off work. He just stayed late and talked to the people about, hey, how do some of these machines work? By the mid-70s, the rules changed. The plant announced it would begin hiring black machinists, but only if you could pass a live test, meaning walk up, start the press, start the machine, and run clean cuts of steel at different lengths. Well, most people had never even turned the machine on. My dad stepped up, ran the machine like he'd been doing it for years, because he had. You see, quietly, consistently, after hour, prepared before he was promoted. And that's my mentor, that's my hero. And that's where my drive comes from. Preparation isn't busyness. It's disciplined consistency aimed at purpose. It's doing the work before the door opens, so when it does, you walk through. Practice readiness daily, and promotion stops being luck. It becomes the next step. So let me leave you with this. Growth isn't a moment, it's a motion. And motion requires consistency. So to recap, win the morning. Start strong, finish stronger. Keep learning. Leaders earn the right to lead daily. Next, track your progress. What you measure, you can multiply. Do the small things. Tiny disciplines create massive momentum. And lastly, stay ready. No matter the adversity, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Hey, my name is Christopher Houston, and my mission is to help leaders prepare before they're promoted. If this message connected with you, hit the subscribe, turn on the notifications, and share it with someone serious about leadership growth. Remember, consistency doesn't create perfection, it creates progress. And if you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, or another platform, drop your biggest takeaway from this video in the comments. Also, what's the one habit you'll start practicing this week? Let's grow together, one consistent day at a time. Thank you very much. Good night, and God bless.